Hello, welcome to File New. Happy Wednesday. Today is the first day of July. The rest of Adobe Live has been offline, but I'm here and we're hanging out for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be the full hour or not, but I am excited to hang out with you guys and hop in here even when the week is off. If you're new here, this is for creators and designers. You're watching the unedited version. There is normally a optimized cut up version that happens on a little bit later in the week that is either the entire thing consolidated down to 20 minutes or just a certain special part of it. So we're gonna be looking over some rebrands, some industry news. We'll do logo 0 and some font of the week, and then we'll get on out of here because it's almost time for summer vacation. So let's go ahead and let's start off with rebrand when we look at some updates in the branding industry. This first one is Uddy's Bakery. It is a gluten-free brand that has gotten more popular in recent years, and they have recently just partnered with an agency to do this rebrand. So you look down here, previously it was a sans serif geometric typeface that kind of all blended together. The U was uneven for some reason, which was also uneven from the top of the I. They had this little quotation mark that was kind of like then also adding possession to the Uddies. So I guess it's, if you were to type it out, I guess it's UDI''S, maybe. I'm not sure, not entirely clear. It had this gradient with white going into yellow, and then it had this yellow drop shadow with a ribbon underneath. The ribbon kind of went out of style in the early 2010s, so it was kind of holding it out. It didn't have the exact like aggressive popular one that had little like cuts into it, but it still felt a little bit, you know? Then we now have our new one, which is this blobbier serif font that is got a little cut into the top of the D. It's gotten all even at the top here across the U, D, I, and S. So the x-axis is all equal. They're now applying it as a bakery rather than just something in itself. And then they flattened everything to make it just brown on yellow. I think they did a lot of really cool updates here with the like the type here. I think that it is clearer. I think that it is more refined. It feels a little bit more polished. I'm glad they got rid of the white to yellow gradient. That felt a little bit too dated. But I think there's other places where maybe it has literally fallen flat. I know we're going through, still experiencing the flattening of everything. This side of the U is a little bumpy and strange to me, where it does mimic the I. It doesn't seem to fully figure out its angle right here on the side of this U, but with this kind of change in width around the U that mimics the bowl of the D and the S, I think that works. And still trying to figure out this situation. Kind of also looks like a emo kid with a side swoop, or maybe like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of swoop back. They updated the branding, and the branding of the packaging looks a lot better. Although my biggest criticism is that it is going to fall into a series and collection of styles that is already kind of on its way out, and this is brand new, so that it's going to be hard because it is something that is going to be very tied to like 2023 to 2025. And what I'm talking about is this mascot with the 1 foot forward. You can see that they have these really cute guys. I really do enjoy them, but it's got things like the flag. It's got this classic 1 foot kind of bent and one extended and all similar eyes. Now, it's a cute style. It's also kind of a reference on Let's All Go to the Lobby, which is the classic animation that played at the middle of drive-ins. And they've applied this to everything and given it character, which is nice, but it's literally in so many other brands right now. I just quickly, I think, grabbed like 3 examples here, but if you pull this up, you have local style potato chips, practically the same thing. This is from what is it, Yard Sale Pizza. It's got something similar with like one leg forward. This is coming from a bagel shop. So these aren't the only examples that I can think of, but it's something that I see a lot, and it was cool, and I was into it, and I felt it. But it is something that I don't think is as ownable anymore. And then now it's going to be kind of dated into this idea that they have it. Maybe in a year or two, when they realize this, they can change the pose and the format of the characters so they're not walking like this, and maybe when you do that it'll change, because they do have a nice texture to it. I like this grit noise that they have going on, and how it not only adds color but it adds depth to it and some clarity between different parts, and dividing things up. I just think that it's not gonna age well. As far as the choices of geometry on the actual packaging, it's great. I like the top of the bag having this extra piece of information, because you are pulling it out and then you're like tying it back up, and so you do interact with the top of the bag a lot, so it's nice to see something added there. I like the cut into the top here, but then focusing on the clear display of product, and the color is nice. I like the yellow. I think it's appetizing. It works, and I think it's overall a decent update, but they're going to have to struggle with that thing. Also, welcome to everyone in the chat. Oliver and Rick and Winter, Virgil, Dino, 100, Lack. Thank you all for being here, and we will get our first poll up so you guys can let me know. If we go to the Uddy's Bakery rebrand, and we're going to see if you guys give it a yay or a nay, because that's what it's all about, guys. Get to hear what you guys think about this. And while we're doing that, and while you guys are voting on whether or not you like Uddy's or not, we're going to go over to our one other rebrand for the day. And this is coming to us from Creative Block, which is a wonderful website. This is reporting from our friend Tom May. And you can see that they released the 2030 branding for the Winter Olympics. And it is this gradient, kind of columned, angled ray situation that represents the mountain, and then you have the Paralympic, which is the opposite, which then is taking up the space as a square. The main criticism of the logo in Creative Block, according to Tom May, is saying that it is a sleek new identity, but it feels like a fintech company, saying that the mark unveiled has confidence, it has elegance, it's highly contemporary, but it also doesn't scream Winter Olympics. It says that it's geometric. Its geometric abstraction and polished minimalism makes it look more like a fintech startup. Glancing at it sideways, you can almost imagine it offering you commission-free investing and premium metal debit card. It says that the mountain revealed by light is the inspiration for the triangles, where the lines represent the alpine landscape illuminated by sunlight, while the point where they converge symbolizes unity and shared ambition. It is distinctly French graphic heritage, where it has a visual language of post-war modernism, particularly the kinetic graphic experiments that flourished during the 1960s and 70s. And there's something wonderfully retro-futuristic about it. I can see the criticism that it is maybe fintech or technology, but it doesn't bother me too much. I think that there is this trend, and we're going to be going over logo trends in just a little bit, about this kind of slit scenario where we're having a lot of repetition with lines and them converging and becoming parallel or just interacting with one another, kind of similar to the 80s. I really, really like the type. I like the 3 specifically. I think that's fun. It would be cool to see maybe some of that hard angled next to the curves in something like the S. I don't know if I like that the P is the only thing that doesn't connect, because, everything else connects in the word form. But overall, I think it's good. I'll be interested to see how it then translates to the rest of their branding, to see how they then reflect this in the rest of the packaging and on-screen visuals without it becoming overwhelming with too many lines or too many gradients, but then also not having it feel too devoid of the logo itself. Good morning to Miss Melanie, and she's asking about he's watching the soccer game, which it's not me today, but I do know that there is a big game going on today with the USA. we were just looking at some rebrand, but a good transition from rebrand would be to go over to our Logo Zero, which is a newer segment that we've only had the last few episodes. This is when we visit a first generation logo of a very famous brand that you probably definitely know, and then we kind of work it back, and throughout the episode, we check out what you guys think. It is. So this is the very first logo, and I want to just see if anybody in the chat knows what this is already. So I'm actually going to end the Uddy's Bakery poll, and it looks like 89% of you said that you enjoyed the rebrand, with 11% of you saying you did not. So I guess I was more in, I was mid. I guess I should probably make a mid one, right? Like a yay, mid, or nay. What's the mid of nay, of yay, you know? And we're going to see if you guys say, do you know this logo? The Logo Zero logo. I'm seeing a guess of Marlboro, which is a good guess. I'm not going to tell you if you're right. You're not right, actually. But I will also give you the first year it was used, which is 1889. So this logo, this is type, by the way, but I just wanted to cover it up because I didn't want you guys to see it and get an idea as to what it is. So the blue is actually type, but the look at that. Very interesting. We'll go and take the opportunity to hop over into a resource because there is some other type resource in today's resource connection. And also I want to talk a little bit about that branding thing. I saw this on Instagram from someone called Club Nun, and they created a typeface that is a beaded bracelet typeface. So they actually made a cute little video about it. Let's see if it plays here. And they're talking about how they were tired of creating all of these titles, and they, obviously there's been a big resurgence of these beads in the summer. They're offering it at Club Nun. I believe it's $8, and it's a full alphabet, A through Z, numbers included, and also some symbols as well that you can also include on the beads, like a heart, a star, a flower, question mark. And this is available at clubnun.com, and it works wherever you can have a typeface where you can download. So $8, which all things considered for a font, pretty cheap. I have not downloaded it myself, but I did think that it was pretty cool. Then the trend report. So this is what I really wanted to touch on, which is why I hopped over to resources before we hopped over into actually any sort of industry news. This is the logo report coming to us from Logo Lounge. I'm going to have it swoop down here. And this is a yearly report that they come out with. It's written by Bill Gardner, and he's the president of Gardner Design and the founder of Logo Lounge. And every year they look at the different emerging trends of logos and things that they're seeing across the board. One thing that I thought was super important to call out was that what's emerging is a system that feels more fluid than ever, less fixed, that brands aren't presenting themselves, they're behaving. So it says that they are pulsating, they're revealing layers, they're adapting. It's shifting from something that is static and artifact into something that's more expressive, more reactive, and in many cases more collaborative between designer, system, and client, which I think is something that you can see a lot. We have variable logos that are changing width as things are, depending on where they're being applied to. There is kinetic actual motion design where like logos come in and go out, with sound design as well. There is an idea that a logo is not just something that gets printed in a newspaper anymore. It is something that has to live on a screen or live in a space or live alongside other different examples of work. It says that also, to that point, backgrounds are no longer passives, that they become active participants in the identity. So they're seeing brands lean into immersive fields of color and motion with refracting light, seeing things that look like it's out of focus, looking through droplets of water, softened slightly out of reach. And of course, this all converges into the idea that designers are no longer just handing off assets to clients. They're starting to build them frameworks. So this is something that even Andrew Hockrottle was working on years ago, when he was like, yes, your logo is important, but your brand language is probably even more important than your logo, because it's going to be more prevalent and more ubiquitous than anywhere your logo is going to be, because if you have a whole document, your logo might be on there once, but the brand language and how it works and how it interacts with all the other design elements is going to be throughout the entire piece. So it's looking at not just logos, but looking at the entire idea. How can you represent the idea of a company without actually just having like, this is my signal for the logo? How do we approach type? How do you approach motion design? How do you approach how you post different things on social media or in videos, or how people talk about it? What is your brand voice? So things are being really dialed up, and it says that there's a shift in intensity, there's adjustive frequency, there's evolving imagery. Now, I don't want to take all of his thunder, because Bill did a really good job at breaking all of this down. It is linked in the raindrop, which I will be putting in the description for you guys. But I did want to call out two different ones that I saw that were interesting. I wanted to touch on piano because this is what made me think of the Olympic one, right? It says that the decade of 80s has barely begun when Robert Miles Runyon's Stars in Motion logo was selected for the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games. And they said the designers were hungry for the new visual language, and those stepped parallel lines delivered it in spades. So now it is back, and we're seeing it in different pieces, from kind of this Matchbox Studio where it's cutting into shapes, or you can have Common Block where it's completely building something out of just different variants of line width and how close they are to each other and using negative space. Similarly to that, another one that is on the same list is echo arcs, and these are kind of things that you see where it's just like lines that are all in together and working. These can be really pretty, especially at scale, and also brought down if they are spaced out well enough. They do make it kind of feel harder to steal and replicate, because there is such a nice, clear, finessed, mathematic equation to building it out that you can't necessarily steal it without, kind of having that idea. And this says that patterns don't need a full introduction. It just needs to show you a hint, and your brain finishes the sentence, a few lines in rhythm, and you already know the rules. So this also is going back to the idea that we were talking about, something that is bigger than just your logo. If your logo is already hinting at it, then you're halfway there, right? And so I thought these were really interesting. A few of the other ones, and we won't go into them in detail because, like I said, I want you to check it out, is things like V-balls, which, it's like radiating around. There's cut, or crack, he calls it, where it just like is cutting into letters. Slant break, there's a lot of italics coming up. There's slip knot, where things are flipping around and looking kind of like knots. And then breezy and rollover. So check it out. It's a good read. It's a good skim, and you can maybe find some inspiration or things that you can maybe want to navigate away from. Now, one thing that I did want to bring up, and this is both resource and just kind of talking, is this was something I wanted to talk about last week. We kind of ran out of time, but I think it goes along well with this. It's a post that's coming from Cinema How, and it's a lot of people that were talking about this. It is the new trailer for Disney's animation, Hexed. And what people realized online was that a lot of the composition in the trailer itself was all center focused. And people said, wait, that's because they want to be able to easily crop it into a vertical situation. So Cinema How then took a top one and showed how the Hex trailer is in a vertical format, and then compared it to other things like Moana or Big Hero 6 and showed how it's taking advantage of the full frame, and you can't just fully put it into the center. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a hot take here, and I know the internet was very upset about this, but I think that it is a reflection of the time, and constraints can also make you more creative in the way that you have to apply your medium to more than just one thing, and that can be frustrating. I think that there still is a big spot of being able to design something for one use case, but the way that we consume media and interact with media and relate to media, people grow very close to the idea of intellectual property, of things that mean a lot to them, with storytelling, how storytelling can get deeper and more intertwined with a life. And so you might watch something on your phone, but then you might also watch something in a theater. You might watch it on TV. You might see it in the corner somewhere. And all of these things have to start being able to be responsive and adaptive. I don't think that the whole movie is going to be made to have everything in the direct center of the movie. I just don't see that happening. I think what it is instead is it's a computer generated movie, right? Like, not generated as an AI, but it's like it is 3D models where you can recompose and you can recreate compositions specifically just for the trailer that aren't going to be cropped or filmed that way for the final release. And if you are releasing something specifically on social media and you want to have it optimized for the best viewing experience for the most amount of people, having something center so that you can then have it in a vertical format isn't the worst thing. I don't think we're really meant to break down the trailers in the way that, you are taking it for the final most precious result. Rick is saying, can you say auto reframe? Yeah, like it's just a essentially glorified auto reframe. I think if we completely lose it and they only do everything center composition, there will be a loss. But I don't think that's the case, and I think the internet is being too reactionary. And I also think that it presents something really cool where you are creating the same thing but for multiple formats, and then you have to get creative for it. Winter says, I don't like it. Use the whole frame. Disney has the resources to make multiple versions. And yes, but you're saying make multiple versions, make one for vertical and make one for horizontal. That is true. They could always definitely do that. In this case, I guess they are using one, but they're repurposing it between a lot, which is a good point. So let's take a quick break back to our logo 0. And something weird about this week's in particular is that I still don't think you're going to be able to recognize the second one. Last week we did Sony, and you could definitely recognize the second one because it said Sony on it. This one is the second logo that they had that I believe showed up, I think, in the 50s. I'll have to double check the math on that. But I believe this second logo showed up in the 50s. And it looks like this. It's got a spade with some triangles going all around it, maybe even like a diamond on top and a triangle on the bottom, and then a circle with a symbol in the middle, and it's all black and white and completely flat. Let's continue and take a quick break over at saying make sure you follow File New as a podcast. It's available on Spotify, on Overcast, on Apple Podcasts, you name it. Also, hi Mike, good to see you. And then also do me a favor and follow my personal YouTube account, which is Ryan Selvy, posting shorts and other content that you can check it out. Alyssa doesn't know, but she does like it, she says. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, let's hop into some industry news. This is not sponsored. I do get paid to stream on this show, but they did not ask for me to mention this. This is just something that I am bringing up because I think it is noteworthy and newsworthy, is that Adobe has acquired Topaz Labs. Topaz Labs is a company that develops professional quality AI video and image enhancement models. So we're not talking about generation here. We're talking about upscaling, refining, and creating better imagery for your content. And something that I think is super important to call out is that with upscaling, sharpening, stabilization, frame interpolation, noise removal, and footage restoration, and more, all of this is happening on your device. They run directly on your device. It does not go to a data center. It is all happening on your own computer. So if your computer is not plugged into the wall and you are using a laptop, you are just using your own battery. And this is a resource that you can use to fix shaky footage or grainy footage or small footage or footage that you lost and you need to recover. And Adobe has now acquired them. It says that Topaz Labs customers of all sizes can expect continued support and investment in future innovation. So they will continue to support Topaz Labs as Topaz Labs products. And if you don't want to have it in your Adobe ecosystem, you'd rather just have it on their website, it still will remain available as standalone offerings through the company's websites. I am very excited to have something that can upscale and save footage. Then some bad news. Let's go into some crappy news. This is kind of late in breaking, and you're wondering why we're talking about video games on this, but I promise we will get around there in the full run. Is that Sony will cease production of discs for all new PlayStation games in 2028. It says that they have reported that they will only be available as digital downloads, and they won't be sold on discs effective January 2028. Says that the most recent figures show that nearly 4 in 5 purchases of full games of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games were purchased digitally in the last year. I can admit I do not buy physical games anymore. I only buy digital ones. This is also coming off of the reigns of Rockstar Games, who creates Grand Theft Auto, had announced that Grand Theft Auto 6 is finally coming out, but that the physical copies are just going to be a download code inside of a box. Which, like, at that point, what is the purpose? Just send me an email. I think that this is a shame. I understand the full reasoning to not mass market these and create these as something that is being shipped out to all different video game stores all over the world and creating, just excess stuff and carbon emissions for making things move around. I think that is good to end that, because especially there is just like a digital focus here. I do think that it comes back to creators here, because this is what we've talked about in previous episodes, is that digital archiving is very fragile in the way that if they decide they want to take something off of the market entirely and it is linked to your account and you don't fully own the files, you just own a license to play the game, like that is then can be taken away from you. As long as these things can live on your system and you can unplug and you can have your device off for 5 years and still boot up the game, that is much better. But I think that they should at least come out with some sort of limited run of just having things on disk to an extent. That way there is some sort of physical media. So if the grid goes offline and we all lose connection to the rest of our lives, if I have solar panels, I can still play my Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing that Oliver says, I get why people are annoyed about this, but even if you buy a game on a disc now, you end up having to download almost the whole game as an update before you can play it. That is also true. Normally when you boot up any sort of game, it makes you have to then go. I'm going to end this Do You Know This Logo Zero poll. It looks like 90% of you say no. There's 10% that say yes. So there's somebody there that knows it. And I am going to have a new poll, and I'm going to say, do you buy physical media anymore? I'm going to say often, rarely, or never. And this doesn't apply just to video games. This can also apply to movies, TV shows, artwork, anything that comics, anything that you would potentially have and traditionally would have to go and physically buy, whether it's something that you put into a device that plays it or something that you hold in your hand. Interested to hear if you guys buy physical media or not. Oh, also music as well. Do you buy music or do you just stream it all? Oliver says yes for music and films, no for games. And I'm already seeing the votes coming in. It's exciting to see. Oh, we missed one resource. I forgot about this. This is an interesting resource. And I don't know if you guys will find it entirely resourceful or not. This is Git Compress. It says compress images losslessly on your desktop. It's just a nice, easy way to quickly bring down the sizes of images, videos, PDFs, and GIFs, all like in your taskbar. And it doesn't lose quality. So it's showing that this PNG was 2 megabytes, and then after compression, it went down to 436 kilobytes, which is 78% improvement, and the image quality stays the same. There are things that are in Photoshop, like you can do like save for web and other things to help optimize images, but a lot of the times, that requires you to open up Photoshop and tweak some settings. This is something that just kind of lives on your desktop, and you can drag and drop and compress stuff. Right now, it says that a lifetime price of $19 is there. I have not used it myself, but I saw it and I thought of you guys. And then there is this update from Windows. It says that they're getting to the screen tint business. It says that Microsoft's next new build will have capabilities to add up to 7 different types of colors on top of your screen for tired eyes. And you can then like tie it to maybe when the sun goes down and how the intensity goes. The big thing that I will flag here, and I'm going to go full screen because I'm serious about this, okay? If you use this feature, make sure you are aware of editing programs, illustration programs, any Adobe programs if you can go in and you can turn it off. Like, yes, it'll help you sleep, yada, yada, yada. But when it is 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, not even that late, and you were working on a photo and you get it to a wonderful spot and you like send it to the client, or maybe you go to bed and you wake up the next morning, you open it up and it looks radically different, just like remember that tint is there. So if you have yellow on there, it's going to make everything look really warm and wet, and so your colors are going to be all messed up. So I ran into this a lot, actually. As a college student, I used to have this feature on my computer because I would stay up late and I'd be like, oh, I need this better for my eyes. So many times where I drew something or I edited something and I woke up the next morning and it looked awful. So I think it's really good for the general public. For artists, it's something that you got to be aware of because you have to flip it on and off. Otherwise, you can get some really bad stuff that happens. And then as far as some meta updates, there are, this one's kind of yucky. That there are all these new glasses that Meta came out with, and they actually are moving away from Ray-Bans, so they're even cheaper now, and they have the cameras on them. But they are adding a rate limit soft paywall to their smart glasses. This is coming from Sean Hollister at The Verge, and it says all AI glass ownerships now get free monthly usage for certain features. So it has AI in it, and it's saying that you will be limited to 3 hours per month unless you pay $20 per month for the glasses that are already on your face. And if you pay for premium, you only get 15 hours, which, I mean, that is a lot of time though. But the thing that's crazy about it and really, really upset him was that there are things like the conversation focus feature, which amplifies the voice of the person that you're speaking to. All happens on device and does not rely on the internet or Meta servers. It happens entirely on the glasses themselves, and they want to charge for that towards your quota. So, being greedy. As creators, these could be really helpful because you can record really cool content with them. They're actually adding some new features to how you can interact with this content on Instagram. One is they have a second perspective with multicam. And it's basically you can have the top of your camera and you can have the bottom of what you're seeing and be able to show that it's going to sync up into the two perspectives, giving a community of like a first person's view and a thing. So this is a place where right. Quickly hopping back to our last story about our screen tint. Rick says he means business about this. I do, because it got me into a pinch like a lot of times. It says that there are one. One. What happened? What happened? What's going on? Wait, what's wrong? Preview. He's back. What? I don't know what happened on mine. I didn't. Did something happen with that? What? All good? Keep going? Okay. Someone cut into your feed. LOL. Okay. Well, I'm here. Hi. Well, I promise we will keep this nice and quick. And what did you guys miss? Did you guys miss us talking about this feed? You're preempted for a few seconds by the next Behance shot. Oh, okay. All right. Sure. Hey, Jack. How are you? Good to see you. That said, we'll make sure that we can keep nice and quick then. I was serious about the thing. You missed this. It took a while to load, but you're live. Okay, cool. And then the new iPhone leaked, and basically there was this big leak with Tata Electronics, and one of the drop tests had multiple videos that came out, and so this is the iPhone 18, and it's going to have apparently 4 different models with basically OLED displays, and it says that Tata is a key supplier for China, and apparently there was a data breach, and then it leaked onto the dark web, and it's probably the biggest leak that has happened since the iPhone 4, which has its own history lesson in there. And so it's because of the suppliers list, but it looks like we're not getting a folding phone next or anything. That must be next year. But it looks like 3 cameras. Looks still the same as the one that I have. I have a 16. It looks the same. So we'll be interested to see how it works and how it goes. But just so you know, it leaked. And we missed a rebrand. I'm just hopping all around these things. Okay, this one's kind of a small story, nice and quick. Mountain Dew has 80 years as an American original, which is crazy how long that's lasted. And there are limited release of the old cans, which is really fun. It has that kind of stipple animation illustration with kind of the different streaky, like wood cut almost, or like stamp cut, lino cut illustration. And then basically it was born 1948, and so they basically made it on the hills of Tennessee. And so just for a few days they're selling it for 5 cents, I guess exclusive on the TikTok shop, which ain't that interesting. There's 1,948 bundles, I guess, for 1948, and you get 10 cans from there. Rick says, oh, you can still fold the phone. It's the unfolding that's the problem. This is very true. Let's go revisit our logo 0 again real quick, because we are running lower in time. I thought we were going to be a shorter episode, but we're just flying through everything. The first resemblance of today's logo happened in 1967. And originally the brand is from Japan again. We're just doing Japan all over the place. And how much time do we have left? Should I do the original logo before we do the original product? We'll do one more. We'll hop into font of the week, and then I think that just gives us just enough time to then come back and look at logo 0. So let's quickly look at font of the week, and you guys can vote on that, and then we will come back and reveal this logo. All right, so I ended the poll for the physical media, and it looks like 62% of you rarely buy physical media, 23% never buy physical media anymore, and 15% often buy it. So we're going to start up our last poll of the day for Font of the Week. And for Font of the Week, we're going to have 3 different options, as we always do. You guys will vote on it, and then it will go into the Hall of Fame. This week, we have Taranum Ferrum, we have Late Serif, and then we're getting nasty with it. We're doing Big Cheese. So these are 3 different options that we have. So we're gonna start this poll, and you guys can start voting. So now this is a Taranum Ferrum. I don't know. It's created by Nikola Kostic and Zoran Kostic. It is from 2014. It has 2 weights. It is, I would say, probably a display font, right? Let's do like a little thing here. I would say it's a display font, probably. And can I make it thicker? No, maybe not. I should know how to do that. Okay, so it is a display font, and it is probably best for headlines and maybe posters. Definitely not body copy. You could maybe do some UI with it if you used it selectively. I would definitely not use it for editorial use. This is from Oliver saying, the first time I saw the name, I thought it said Tauntown. Which, you know, who knows? Then description for type designers is a hyper-condensed, high-contrast modular display pairing that maps a single geometric framework across dual history axis, Gothic fracture, which is iron, and reductive industrial sands, steel. I'm seeing Alyssa saying, wow, okay, layout. Oh, when's the last time you were here? Have you missed like the last 3 episodes? This is like our third or fourth week with this layout. We do have a new update for the layout, though. I will say that because we had a request to have, do you have your math homework? And yes, for this one, you can do it. A description for everybody else. There is a heavy font designed to look like its letters were cut out of solid industrial metal plates. And this is our panagram, which if you are not familiar with what a panagram is, pangram is when you use all the letters of a alphabet in a sentence. So this is Ryan Selvy quickly jazzed up 6 amazing bold graphics for next week's final new broadcast, fixing odd glitches. So these are the 2 different weights that we have here. And then we have all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Oh, we have 2 9s there, so don't know what that says. And so this is as ferrum steel and ferrum iron. Very minimal, but they kind of like flare out depending on what they are. These all have the cuts. And then you can see here that this is actually a bonus because there is a whole nother level of actual letter forms that do not feel like they have been pressed in with steel or anything else. And that this is the actual like font that it is based off of, and that has different weights and even more, but that's not what we're voting on. Today we're voting on the actual one that has the like steel and iron approach to it. Then we have late serif variable. This was from Henning Skib from Character Type. It was also released in 2024. It is a variable font, so multiple. This is very clearly a serif font, a beautiful serif font, if I say so myself. And I would definitely be able to use this for editorial, for body copy. If you wanted to use black, I mean, you could even kind of do, yeah, you could pretty much use this for everything if you wanted to. It's like this isn't going to be priority for the UI of it, but they say that it's a contemporary humanist text serif referencing Eric Gill's Perpetua, engineered with a stabilized axis shift, a high-density optical optimization, and signature sickle-shaped terminal flourishes. But for everybody else, it's just a very smooth and professional textbook font that is incredibly easy on the eyes in long paragraphs, but it has elegant sweeping curves when you look up close. Here's a pangram. Yes, you can do your math homework with it. And wait, is that from the other one? That might be from the other one. No, it's not. That's from this one. Da-da-da. And it has these 4 weights just are the ones that when you load it into Photoshop pop up. It's variable, which means that you can do in between all of these with regular, medium, and bold. And yeah, Elizabeth says, if you played New York Times Spelling Bee, you'd know pangram well. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. And then our last one that we have is our Big Cheese. This is a Dingbats one. It is a collection of 124 illustrations. So clearly this is display, because if you did anything else with this, it'd be kind of upsetting. Oh, I didn't look up the release here. I forgot about it. It has 2 weights, and it comes from Bob Alfoldish and Eric Donnellan. It is a wild, chaotic collection of 1990s comic doodles and symbols instead of actual letters. Can you do your math homework with it? Please don't. You can see here that it has all of these different icons, from like cowboy hats to little stairmen. That's almost like MC Escher, almost mixed with like Keith Haring. It has a smoking thing of cheese. It has a man that is turned into an airplane. It's got a really nice saxophone that looks like a snake with a little dancing man. These are all different, by the way. So if you remember, this is like uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. And it's got some punk rockers down here. It's got some babies. It's got a cowboy. And if you want to be really fancy about it, it is a classic postmodern, post-structuralist dingbat glyph set encapsulating the early 90s vernacular grunge digital design movement via non-linguistic illustrative vectors. I would say it's probably not good for any of these. It's all good for decoration, which is its own category. So we're not even going to highlight that anywhere else. But you can see they can be switched out in colors. They can be scaled infinitely because they are dingbats, which is really cool. Anywhere you can put type, you can put these illustrations. So these are our 3 options that we have here. And you guys can go ahead and you can vote it on out. Since you guys are focused on that, though, as you vote, let's go take a look one more time at the font. Not the font. Let's go look at Logo 0. I guess we'll just switch back over to rebrand for that. I forgot that my transition to rebrand is just the theme song. So we'll see if we surprise anybody there with our updates. So the original product looked like this. which was some playing cards back in the 1800s. And with that, I feel like for a lot of people, that gives it away. Because if you're not familiar, the company Nintendo originally sold cards back in the 1800s. It wasn't until obviously the late 1900s that they got into the video game business. But over the years, they eventually got to this logo, which they've been using for years and years and years now. They've been really focusing on the red. And this used to have like little symbols on it. I feel like I thought I had, maybe I don't. I thought I had the first one, but so let me pull it up and see. That way I can show you guys what the first logo looked like. We could actually even look at the evolution of it based off of, what's that one website that has it? We'll go to Nintendo logo history, and then I'll pull it up for you guys. Oh, this one's just on Reddit, so that works too. Here it is. This is all the different fonts that they went through. You can see that they had some symbols in the front. I didn't want to give away that it was Japanese immediately, but I did think that looked like marble. And you can see they went to a script in the 60s. Then they, kind of made it feel like Frigidaire at one point in 1964. But then they eventually in 1967 landed on this typeface that feels a lot similar to the one they have now. I don't know what happened in 1968. No idea what happened there, because then they got back on track, and then they've had this one since 2016. And I realized that they really mostly just do white on red. Like, no matter what, it's really hard to, like, in my head, they always have this, but for the most part, it's not. I guess this was during the Wii era and what have you, when everything was like white and sleek and gray, but this is what it looks like now. So that's our logo 0. And that puts us at just about time. So the winner of this week's Font of the Week belongs to no other than and the poll, it goes to Big Cheese. All right, congratulations to Big Cheese. You have won Font of the Week, and that will then now be in the new raindrop of the Hall of Fame. So there you go. As for us guys, we are off from File New next week because we are very excited to have Jacob Paris take over the whole week of Adobe Live. I don't know if I'll do like a mini update somewhere else, but in that case, make sure you follow me on YouTube and on Instagram so that you can get updates. Maybe I'll do like a side hustle, off-brand news show or something. Let me know what you guys think. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for your votes. And thank you for just being a part of the community. I know this wasn't really advertised much, so if you showed up today, that means that you either have the regularity of showing up every single week, or you found the notification through other places that, I kind of just casually posted about. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all your commentary. Make sure you like this video before you go. And sorry about that weird thing in the middle. But coming up next, we have CA in LA, who might have been who accidentally pops into me. I don't know. I'll have to look back and see what it is. But thank you for watching. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Enjoy the time off. Eat a hot dog. Do your thing. All right. Take care.